Sophia's in-laws were threatening to get guardianship of Sophia's son. Mary Mae planned to appeal to her grandfather Ramos to intervene on Sophia's behalf. She'd already written her grandfather, but knew he would listen better if she presented her request in person. Not wanting to be around when Warren or Polly explained what had happened, Mary Mae stepped across the wagon tongue and wandered down the line of wagons. The melody of a harmonica came from the camp where the teamsters hunkered down. The wagon master, Buck, felt the teamsters would prefer not to share their evening with the paying travelers. Mary Mae guessed it was as much the other way. The travelers likely didn't care to listen to the rough talk of the teamsters, though they surely enjoyed the music that came every night from that direction. It was cold as she moved away from the fire, and she turned back, hoping Warren had moved on or that the others had come back to the fire. If not, she would make her way to bed. Donna, Grace, and Luke had married before they left Independence and shared the wagon Mary Mae and her sister had brought. Then Warren's sister Judith had married Gil the scout. They had taken over the Russell wagon. It left Mary Mae feeling like she had no place to call her own, and she'd spent time riding in the Braddock wagon with Polly, but Polly's talk of marriage and the look she had given Mary Mae when Sam held her made Mary Mae uncomfortable doing so again. But she had to sleep somewhere. She'd put up their little tent and sleep alone, just like she meant to make her way through life alone, independent, free. She sighed. Free sounded a lot like lonely, but she wouldn't let that deter her. She marched back to the camp and saw that the others were busy preparing for the night. She went to the back of the Clark wagon and grunted as she struggled to get the tent from underneath a pile of bedding. Warren reached over her shoulder and pulled the canvas roll out. "Thank you," she said, keeping her voice as polite as she could. "I'm not interested in marriage to anyone, so don't take it personal. Doesn't mean I can't be a gentleman and help a lady when she needs it." She murmured another thank you. "This is one lady who is going to learn not to depend on a man for anything, but don't take it personal." Warren chuckled despite himself. He knew Polly's lively imagination had seen everyone happily married. Good thing Sam had come along when he did. Warren didn't want anyone thinking he had any thought of marrying Mary Mae. Luke and Judith had both mentioned it, but just because they had found happiness on this trip by marrying didn't mean it was for him. Nope. He'd remain the only unwed Russell. After all, it wasn't like he hadn't tried matrimony. He'd been married to Gina, a fine, sweet woman. They'd had a baby boy and called him Reggie. His troubled memories drove him away from the wagons and into the night. He'd been living his dream, building a ranch, striving to establish the best cow herd he could. His work consumed him to the point he'd neglected Gina and Reggie. He groaned back the memory of how he'd left her that last time, despite her saying she was ill and begging him to stay with her. He had 100 cows to bring home and had to get it done. Gina would be fine on her own. He'd returned to find both Gina and Reggie drawing their final breath. If he'd stayed, he could have sought medical help for them, could have seen they got food and water, could have done so many things. But instead, he put his own interests first. And it wasn't the first time. When he was 15, he was left to watch the wagon that held his 2 little sisters, Judith and Dodie. A friend came along with a new puppy, and he forgot his responsibilities. While he admired the pup, a runaway wagon banged into the one he was to be watching. His sisters were thrown out, Dodie died, and Judith's leg was badly broken. Losing his sister should have been lesson enough, but seems he was a slow learner, and he repeated the same failure with Gina. However, he had no intention of inviting another failure, another loss, and another pain to carry. Like he said, he wouldn't ever marry again. No woman deserved the kind of man he had proven to be. Never mind that he was 28 to Mary Mae's what was she, 18 or 19? He couldn't remember and wasn't about to ask anyone. The dark-haired...